Tonight on CTV News, we take a look at President Tony Frank's final fall address.
Then, the Pride Center is celebrating 20 years on campus.
And later, the Diversity Symposium hosts a special guest speaker.
All this and more starting right now on CTV News.
Good evening, Rams, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Emma Iannacone.
And I'm Jaclyn Wash, anchoring in place of Ryan Christ. We begin tonight with some breaking news. A rally opposing Judge Brett Kavanaugh, the prospect for U.S. Supreme Court and alleged sexual abuser of Dr. Christine Blasey Ford, has sparked in Old Town Square. CTV reporters Sydney Paul and Lauren Wilson are on the scene. We will bring you more coverage on this event next week.
After a decade of serving as the president of CSU, Dr. Tony Frank delivered his last fall address before stepping down in July 2019. Frank highlighted the achievement of raising $1 billion for the State Your Purpose campaign and reminded the audience that more work remains.
10 short years. A decade that has passed far too quickly. A decade where it has been my privilege to be here and work with all of you. 10 years ago, bucking conventional wisdom in the face of the Great Recession, we launched the first comprehensive campaign in the history of the university, the State Your Purpose campaign. It had an audacious goal, some might even have said a ludicrous goal, of raising $1 billion. Last week, over 1.5 years ahead of schedule, we met that $1 billion goal. I start my last year as the president of Colorado State University knowing that I have done my best and grateful for the immense honor and privilege it has been to do this work alongside all of you. And I mean to keep on doing so until the end. Let's have another great year, CSU. Thank you.
In an interview with Collegian TV, Frank said that the thing he'll miss the most about CSU is the people. Frank will be taking the full-time position of Chancellor of the CSU system in July.
Several students attended the ASCSU Senate last night to voice their concerns on the usage of student fees. Turning Point USA is hosting Dennis Prager, a conservative radio show host, on October 29th and requested $13,999 to bring Prager to campus. However, in order for the Senate to be involved in the approval or denial of using student fees, registered student organizations must have a request of at least $14,000. TPUSA's request was $1 shy of this threshold, and it was approved by the board for student organization funding.
It's been 2 decades of love and support for CSU's Pride Resource Center. The center is hosting a celebratory dinner on October 20th in honor of their 20th anniversary. The first director of the Pride Center will be speaking alongside 2 students at the dinner, and the first LGBT mariachi band will be performing. The center is also celebrating LGBT History Month and National Coming Out Day on October 11th, as well as Latinx Heritage Month.
It's also Latinx Heritage Month right now, so we overlap 2 weeks. So we're going to do a panel of Latinx queer identified folks to talk about what it means to hold those intersections.
Pride Resource Center's website, the event is free to students.
The Office for Diversity at CSU hosted Cornell William Brooks last night in the LSC Theater. Brooks has an extensive list of duties, including being an ordained minister, civil rights attorney, and former president and CEO of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. Brooks was the keynote speaker for the Diversity Symposium, which concludes today. He spoke to his audience about 3 lessons he believes the CSU community could benefit from: looking for role models, loving deeply, and leading boldly.
This is a moment for students and faculty and staff and academic communities to be reflective and thoughtful about what is taking place in our country.
More information about the speech can be found in today's newspaper.
The $1.3 billion city budget was presented to residents at Tuesday night's City Council meeting. Around 30 people voiced concerns to City Manager Darren Atterbury about the 2019-2020 budget. The main concern? Funds to neighborhood livability and social health, which includes homelessness initiatives and how little of the budget is being allocated to affordable housing and human services. The recommended budget is prioritizing police staffing and public safety, repairing city infrastructure, and more. The budget is expected to be finalized in November.
Have you filled out your FAFSA forms yet? The free application for Federal Student Aid, or FAFSA, opened up this week for the 2019-2020 school year. In a report done by the Denver Post, in the 2015-2016 school year, students in Colorado missed out on nearly $50 million in federal financial aid due to incomplete applications. According to the Department of Higher Education, 52% of high school students in the state of Colorado did not complete their FAFSA in the 15-16 school year, when nearly 40% of those students would have been eligible for financial aid. For more information about your financial aid, you can email financialaid@colostate.edu.
You may have gotten a text alert from the president yesterday, and no, not Tony Frank. President Donald Trump launched a test of the first national wireless emergency alert system. In the case of a real alert, the public would be warned of a national emergency. The alert has the same sound and vibration associated with other alerts, like the tornado warnings or amber alerts. However, users cannot opt out of the presidential alerts. If you're wondering if today's rain is a sign of cooler times to come, weather anchor Carson Porterfield has all the details on the first chilly week of fall.
And if you need some cute videos of corgis to cheer you up from the rainy day, stay tuned for Entertainment with Colin Sanders.
You are listening to 90.5 KCSU Fort Collins with DJ Meanbeat,
DJ Nightshade,
DJ Wildcard. Music to me is
one of the best creative outlets that I can think of.
an escape from the real world.
Music to me is an expression of love.
To go from like folk to hip hop to like classic rock, 1960s bossa nova. With music, there's like no boundaries.
I work here because I love music, and you do too.
Good evening, Rams. Welcome back to Thursday Weather. I am your weather anchor, Carson Porterfield, and let's get right into our current conditions. All right, well, the sun has set about 17 minutes ago, but it is a beautiful night outside with a current temperature of 58 degrees. All right, looking at today's weather, it was a beautiful start. Even my friend William P. Nuts was enjoying it. But soon, some clouds started to come in, and a little bit of drizzle soon turned into rain. As it came through all across Fort Collins and CSU, students were rushing to get to campus. Thankfully, that rain soon cleared up and the sky was filled with just a lot of clouds, but thankfully, students still enjoyed their lovely day. Looking at tonight's lows, it is going to be... All right, looking at tonight's lows, it is going to be a little bit of a tiny pepper, or as I like to say, a little chilly. All right, it's going to be about 33 in Telluride as the lowest up in those mountains. Looking along that I-25 corridor, it's about 47 in Fort Collins, 51 in Denver, 48 in Colorado Springs, and 48 in Pueblo. Looking at tomorrow's highs, thankfully it will heat back up, but it's still going to be a little bit cloudy outside, with the coldest it being is about 50 in Telluride and 50 in Craig. Looking along that I-25 corridor, it's about 64 in Fort Collins, 72 in Denver, 72 in Colorado Springs, and 80 in Pueblo. Our tomorrow forecast, sadly, the weather will continue as it was today with a little bit of clouds and a chance of rain, but it should not be too cold with a temperature of about 64. All right, that 5-day forecast, it is about going to be the first week of all clouds for that first fall season. On that Monday, it's going to have a chance of lightning and rain and a cold temperature of about 47. Thankfully, on that Tuesday, that lightning should go away with just some rain and clouds. After that, on Wednesday through Friday, it is going to be cloudy and mucky all day with about a mid-temperature of 58 to 55. All right, Rams, that's all I got for you. Up next, we have Jared with sports. Good night.
Listen, I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
Life on Mars, Nikola Tesla, Clean Energy, and Frankenstein. It's all part of the Big Think, the 3rd annual Fort Collins Book Festival, October 19th and 20th. More than 35 storytellers, scientists, and writers, including Andy Weir, the best-selling author of The Martian, present free writing workshop, book talks, panel discussions, and more. Information is available at focobookfest.org.
Welcome back from the break on the Thursday Night Sports Show. I'm Jared Stratton, here to catch you up on CSU athletics. On Tuesday, the CSU volleyball team traveled to Laramie, Wyoming to take on the Cowgirls. The Rams lost in 4 sets, and CTV reporter Jessica Mendoza talked to the head coach after the game.
Hi Ram fans, I'm Jessica Mendoza here with head coach Tom Hilbert. Tom, how did you feel tonight's game went?
Well, not very well. Wyoming has more weapons than we do, and they did a good job of scouting us and blocking us, and so we ended up playing really tentative, making a lot of unforced hitting errors, and you can't do that against a team this good and at their place. So we played really one good game from a point scoring perspective. When we were serving in set 2, we did some really good things, but we never really had great offense the entire night.
What are you guys going to do going into the next couple of games in the Mountain West Conference to improve?
Well, we got to practice. We have to serve receive better. We have to play better defense because we need to get into rallies and win in rallies. I think we have some good attackers. I think we've got to figure out what we're going to do on the right side of the court because we're not getting a lot of production there.
All right, thank you very much. I'm Jessica Mendoza here with CTV in Wyoming.
The next game for the Rams will be against the red-hot Air Force Falcons, who are 12-5 on the season. The game will be this Friday at 7 in the evening. On the football team, CSU wide receiver Preston Williams has been continuing to show why he's on the Blinokoff Award watch list. Through the first 5 games, he already has over 500 yards, 4 touchdowns, and nearly 40 receptions, 39 to be exact. After practice yesterday, CSU reporter Brian Buck was able to talk to him about the award.
What's it like to kind of be rewarded for the work you put in?
Grateful. It was a shock at first. I didn't really think I was going to get picked for it, but I'm real grateful for it. So.
I mean, you have 511 yards in the season, almost 40 catches. You're pretty deserving. What about it was a shock to you?
Just being on the watch list. Just being thought of as one of the top receivers. So just keep doing our thing, try to win games.
Do you feel like a top receiver? Is that your mindset?
Oh yeah, definitely. I always feel like a top receiver.
In the country though, you feel like you're getting that perception, that recognition?
Definitely. Trying to put CSU on the map always.
And Preston Williams will have every chance to put CSU on the map with this game on Saturday. They will be playing against the San Jose Spartans, who haven't won a single game all year. In all of their losses, the opposing team has thrown for over 300 yards, and in each of the first 2 games, they gave up over 400 yards in the air. This will give Preston Williams an even better chance of having the best game of the year. Preston Williams and the Rams will be playing against the Spartans in San Jose this Saturday at 8:30 in the evening. Speaking of CSU football, I went out into the LSC Plaza with CTV reporters Brian Buck, Jessica Mendoza, and Jason Ortiz to see what the students think about the football team.
Do you know how well the football team's doing this year?
Pretty bad. Not good. They're like 1-3 or something.
Not well.
1-4? Yeah. Is that right? Something like that.
What do you think about the head coach, Mike Bobo?
I think he should be fired.
And I think before Tony Frank leaves, he needs to fire Bobo.
Isn't he sick? Yeah, he has like a sickness, so I hope he gets better, but I also hope he quits so we can get a better coach.
I know the football players too, like some of them are not the biggest fans of him. He's super intense. I've heard he's really intense.
He was at the University of Georgia. He was good there, but their defense couldn't stop Grandma.
Some people are kind of calling to fire Mike Bobo. Do you guys think we should fire Mike Bobo?
Yes, because our football team is trash
right
now.
Losing.
If we're losing, we should hire a new coach.
I think it might be time to go in a new direction. Probably should get rid of that guy.
Oh, yeah, he's out of here.
Based on the record and how good we were last season, I think we might need a change. I hope he doesn't hear me say that, though.
I think we should keep him around. Don't give up on him yet. Like, dang.
So it cost $8 million to buy out his contract. How would we come up with that money?
I don't know. That seems pretty hard.
I don't know where that money would come from.
Through, like, tickets, I guess, like revenue from the game, selling tickets, concessions, stuff like that, I guess.
I mean, we came up with enough money to build a new stadium, so I feel like we could get it somewhere.
GoFundMe, fire Mike Bobo.
Student fees.
Perfect. How do you feel about Mike Bobo's contract? How many nuts could you buy with $8 million?
I guess we'll never know the answer to that one. I don't think any of us were really expecting that negative of a reception, but despite all of this, Bobo still has a positive record on his CSU career, and we'll have to watch and the rest of the season to see how it all goes. All right, well, that's all the sports I have for today, but if you were a baseball fan, you're in luck. Well, it depends actually if you're a Rockies fan or not, because the Rockies actually ended up losing in, I believe, the bottom of the 10th inning. Moustakas ended up hitting a single to win the game. The Rockies were originally behind for a majority of the game, but they ended up tying it in the 9th inning, but they weren't able to hold on. So we're going to have to see if they can hold on for the next few games. That's all the sports I have for today in total, but make sure to check CTV Twitter and CTV Channel 11 on YouTube for the latest in CSU athletics. I'm Jared Stratton, and up next is Colin Sanders with Corgi Entertainment.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream, that I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly, just to come back in a new disguise and be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Hey there, Rams. Welcome back from the break. I'm Colin Sanders, here to bring you all the latest and greatest in entertainment news. With the start of this spooky season, Fritzlar Farm Park has a pretty intricate haunted corn maze to help get people into the scary mood before Halloween. Fritzlar Farm Park has been around since 2000 and is just located southeast of Loveland. If corn mazes aren't your thing, do not worry, because Fritzlar Farm Park has 20 other fall-themed events, including a pumpkin patch that is ripe for picking. The park is also filled with local breweries and all sorts of fried food, from funnel cakes to deep-fried Oreos. With a good group of friends, CSU students could have a fun excursion down there this spooky month. The UCA and the Gregory Alucard Museum has created a fun interactive art exhibit that encourages young kids to connect and explore all sorts of different creative and artistic styles. It was called Story and Studio, which had 3 different stations filled with all sorts of different art supplies for kids to use, and also got to interact with different pieces of art around the museum to inspire and give ideas to the already imaginative little kids who attended. The goal was to get kids in the headspace of what the artists were thinking and feeling when they made their pieces, in hopes to create future artists. After this, I'm sure the kids got into the picture of what it means to be a true artist. Corgis are just absolutely adorable, and the people of Fort Collins certainly agree, as they celebrated Tour de Corgi this past Saturday. Check it out. This past Saturday, the Tour de Corgi took place in Civic Center Park, where corgis of all shapes and sizes were welcome.
This is our 4th year doing it. It started out as kind of it was supposed to be a small event, and the Facebook event was public and got shared many times, and then it just kind of blew up, and it's been growing ever since. And I think this year we had our largest attendance ever.
The event held a costume contest and was shortly followed by a parade. This truly was a place for corgi lovers to come and show their unconventional amount of love to their corgis.
I think our favorite part is just really showing off our love for corgis. We can't normally dress like this every day without looking a little sketchy, so we can show our true corgi love.
Clearly, this Tour de Corgi was one for the books, receiving 2 little paws way up. Wow, what a wholesome time. Surely enough to relax me before midterms. In the recent years, radio has been on its way out with more and more people listening to podcasts, and 3 CSU students jumped on that opportunity as they created a quick sidebar, a hilarious new podcast just in time to help CSU students with managing stress in a funny and lively way. The show spends its episodes discussing fun topics such as a zombie apocalypse, superheroes, pet peeves, and other whimsical topics to loosen its listeners and hopes to just give people a fun time in their busy day. If you think you need a chance to unwind, you can check out Quick Sidebar on YouTube, SoundCloud, and iTunes. If you're looking for something fun to do next weekend, the Laurie Student Center will be hosting an amazing homecoming comedy show on Wednesday evening starring the famous SNL comedian Sashir Zamata. She'll be performing this Wednesday, October 10th from 6 to 8 p.m. inside the Laurie Student Center Theater. If you are a CSU student, tickets are free and you can claim them online at csutix.universitytickets.com. I'll be there attending the comedy show, so be sure to tune in next week as I cover the fun and hilarious show. Thank you so much for watching, Rams, and don't forget to tune in next week. I'm Colin Sanders, and have an amazing evening and a great weekend.